Hey, I'm Jay, and I've got something to say about churning account bonuses. My first episode was really rambly and all over the place, so I'm going to try to be a little more focused. The easiest way to get into churning bonuses is credit card bonuses. Applying for a credit card is probably the easiest thing to do, and easier than setting up direct deposits for multiple bank accounts, things like that, and the most return on money flow, right? So, basically, you read stuff and you hear how much is your return on spend, right? So you get a 2% cash back credit card, you get 2% cash back on your spend. You spend $1,000, or you spend $100, you get $2 back, right? So, but there's a sign-up bonus. So if you sign up for a zero annual fee card that gives you $200, if you spend $1,000 in 3 months, that's 20% on that $1,000. And probably you're going to spend more than $1,000 on, because you're not going to be getting a card every 2 weeks or something. If you're really trying hard, you're probably going to end up putting more than $1,000 on that, and so you're not really going to get 20%. You're probably going to get 15% or maybe 10%, whatever, at the end of the day. But 10% back is a lot better than the 1 or 2% that on face value of the credit cards. So that's why you want to churn, right? Like, a lot of people think credit cards are bad. Credit cards aren't bad. Holding an interest-bearing balance on credit cards are bad. Borrowing money from your future self to pay for things now is bad. But spending on a credit card has a lot of benefits. One, purchase protection and fraud protection. A lot of credit cards have extra, extended manufacturer warranty. So, if you have something, I'm a little not 100% on all the specifics. It sounds like MasterCard's maybe got a little bit better purchase protection than Visa's for the most part. And a lot of it comes from that part of it. So one thing I didn't realize is there are levels of credit cards. So a Chase Sapphire Preferred is a Visa Infinite card, and a Wells Fargo Autograph is a Visa Infinite card, right? And then I don't know what the MasterCards are called, but then there's the zero fee City Double Cash card. I don't know if City Double Cash is a Visa or a MasterCard, but a zero fee cashback card is going to be a Visa Signature. So when you go to a store, the Visa Signature might charge the merchant that you're charging from for the transaction fee. Visa might charge them 2.2% for a Visa Signature and 2.8% for a Visa Infinite. So when you buy those $99, $95, $100 annual fee credit cards, they're charging the merchants that you're buying from more per transaction to pay for those extra benefits that you get. Okay? So that extra charge is built into the system, right? When you go to Target, they're a big enough store and everybody's using credit and debit cards. Target has credit card fees built into their pricing model, right? They know that, say, 50% of their transactions go on credit cards, and it's 3%. They need, an extra 1.5% in their margins to cover the interchange fees. And that's how they can give you cash back, right? If Visa charges 3% on a transaction and you get 2% back, and Visa gets 0.25%, and the bank gets a 0.5% or whatever, and some of that goes to actually pay for the change. That's where your cash back's coming from, right? The bank's not really losing money on your investment. Now the downside of it is that it is subsidized a little bit by the people that are paying interest, right? banks allow you to churn. They allow you to sign up for multiple credit cards, but it also sounds like they're getting a little more selective as some of the blogs and Facebook comments and stuff I'm reading about business cards in specific. They're becoming a little bit more like, well, why do you need a third or fourth business card? Why aren't you using the business cards you have now and stuff? So it looks like the banks are starting to maybe like slow down a little bit. It looks like I maybe missed the window on the golden era of points and miles as devaluations come out. There was just an article that British Airways Avios points, like typical flights, have gone up about 3,000 points per flight for typical flights that Americans would be looking at, things like that. So there's constant devaluation. And it sounds like it's going to be a little bit harder to because more people are catching on, more people are into the FIRE, financial independence, retire early movement. So, the FIRE people are taking money from the banks every way they can, opening multiple checking accounts, multiple savings accounts, getting the sign-up bonuses that way. So, because more people are getting into it, money's tighter with inflation. More people are looking at ways to do it. It looks like the value for your time and money is going down a little bit. But that happens, that happens everywhere. Think of that as inflation too, right? You're going to be spending more because things cost more. So maybe you'll be earning the same amount over time in rewards instead of earning more for your larger spends. I don't know how to look at it, but downside is that I'm sure some of this, even on paper, where the credit cards claim that all these bonuses and everything, they're completely solvent with the interchange fees. Well, if they're solvent with the interchange fees, then they're making their profits off of interest, because it's like 30% of all of credit card holders are holding an interest-bearing balance, myself included. So that's also another thing. I made some mistakes before getting into this. I thought previously I had gotten a flight on Delta for my honeymoon. That was a pretty good deal on points because I was flying a lot for work and in and out of Newark, which is a United hub. So I signed up for a United card. Apparently it's cheaper to fly buy United flights through Canada's Aeroplan than to buy it from United. What is going to benefit me is I'm taking 5 people on a trip with a checked bag, so that $90 annual fee is basically going to cover $250 worth of or $150 worth of baggage, because we'll get free checked bags, and there are some other benefits and stuff. So plus there, I guess. But I wish I would have started with the Chase stuff. Not gotten the United card yet, and I had a mistake where I had to, all my balance transfer options dried up. So most people will suggest get your debt in order before you start trying to earn points and miles. I am trying to earn points and miles so I don't go into debt more. I have debt. Right now it's all at low or zero interest for a year at a time, 15 months at a time. I'm signed up for lots of 0% interest deals and stuff. And I had been getting checks in the mail, 3 or 4 checks at a time I don't know if you've ever gotten these. You get a check, envelope, and it has 3 checks in it. That's well, anything you spend on this check is 0% interest for 6 months or a year or whatever, or it's 1.5% interest. You'll have a 0% interest check for 6 months and a 1.5% interest check for 1 year or something like that. And then basically that was equivalent to a balance transfer. If you had those, then you also had balance transfer offers online. And I just had 2 months real close to the end of one of my 0% interest where just all my credit cards dried up, and I didn't have any balance transfer offers, and I just had to open another one for 0% interest for 15 months. It's like a 3% transaction fee, but like that 3% was like 1.5 months of interest, right? So don't pay interest. Don't put all of your spend on a credit card if you're not sure that you can pay the credit card off every single month, because those premium perks credit cards don't have low interest rates. Okay, so other thing is opportunity cost, right? You sign up for Chase cards first because Chase is going to lock you out. Maybe you sign up for Capital One Venture because they're sensitive to inquiries, and if you're going to go hard on credit cards, then they probably won't approve you for a Capital One card. So maybe you do Capital One early if you don't already have like Amazon and Macy's and Target credit cards, or gasoline credit cards, or whatever. So start with Chase, because eventually Chase will lock you out, but they have the biggest flexible point ecosystem where you can stack multiple cards that earn the same thing. So you can get like 500,000 points before you start branching out outside of Chase. Citi doesn't have business cards that earn thank you points, so it's hard to build those up beyond the intra bonus. Amex is once per lifetime now, so that's kind of your last case scenario, unless you really want the 4% back on groceries. So you start with Chase, then you branch out and do like your Wells Fargo, Capital One, Bank of America, Citi, and then hopefully you're 24 months out and you can get your personal cards per year down, and then reapply for Chase again, and do that every 2 to 4 years, and just cycle through. And then if you really run out, you go to Amex, which have like really high spend requirements and really high annual fees. There are people, podcasts I just watched, the people that have a group of people that are really big into this. They have the Amex Platinum, and they don't earn any points on it. They use it for what they call the coupon book. They use it for like you get $15 back on your DoorDash every month. So make sure you put one DoorDash order in because it's free food, stuff like that. And they're using that to offset the annual fee. And, maybe if the $700 annual fee, they're maybe getting $750 out of it or something like that. So they're getting a bunch of free perks for that upfront annual fee cost, and travel protections and things like that, and access to lounges when they're going to airports, which, man, that's a different thing. Talk about airport travel and my opinions on that for domestic travel later. But yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm still early in my points and miles. I've gotten 4 cards now that earn points, and used one for 3 nights at a hotel in Ocean City, and I'm going to use them on flights to Disney. And I have like 3 hotel stays coming up this summer when we never do hotel stays. So I kind of wish I would have gotten into this about a year earlier. I think the benefits would have been better, and I think it would be in better shape if I had a pool of points where I could be, picking hotels, not having to pay cash. But yeah, that's where I am. I'm trying to do points and miles because my family's going to go on vacations, and I don't want to go more into debt by doing that. So, and why am I not doing cash back to get out of debt? Because the sign-up bonuses are a better return on investment